just Hi, it's Ethan Mussolini, the Merchant of Success. Welcome once again to this session. Ethan Mussolini at 45, session free, and I'm calling this the career edition because I'm going to focus mainly on the career stuff this time around. And just as a recap, this is the third session, Monday of this week, for those of you attending live, or in this case, 4 days ago, actually, was my birthday, and I decided to, well, let me just say I felt inspired to do 45 lessons by the age of 45. So that's what we are getting into. And today we are looking at the career edition to see, okay, what does it take or what are the key lessons I've discovered when it comes to career growth, development, or acceleration? What's that? What have I noticed over the years? And for me, I have a special privilege, which I'm super grateful in that for about 20 years now, I've interacted with not only professionals themselves, but most critically, CEOs, MDs, key managers, supervisors, human resource managers, because part of my work at Success Africa, we do human resource consulting and training. So we get a special privilege to listen in, to see, to watch, to observe, to get feedback. Who are the superstars and what makes them tick? And so, today I'm going to share some of those key nuggets. All right, so I've already shared 19 tips. Now, tip 20 is focused on career. You have to think long term. One of my staff members shared with me this image. This is a couple that's been married for a very long time. And, I'm sure they thought long term. So, and I believe it's a perfect image in a sense that a career is like, ideally, if it's like a calling, like for me, my career is not just which I'll be talking about later. Typically, when you find a perfect fit for a career, it's a lifetime commitment, just like marriage. So you have to think long term and say, okay, what is it that I want to do for a lifetime? Because, career professionals who are successful are not the kinds who just check things out to know how does this work? Is it nice? Is this good for me? Is this exciting for me? No, they are not that kind. They typically choose those kinds of careers that they can commit themselves for a lifetime. They're the kinds who are not going to retire typically. For example, I don't see myself retiring. Okay, so because sometimes retiring sounds like, you're moving away from something that you did not necessarily like. Of course, that's apart from, if you're working formally, you'll find that there is forced retirement, so to speak, once you reach a certain age. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who feel like, oh, finally, it's time for me to retire from this work. Well, I'm here to propose to you that for those who have exceptional careers, then they are the ones who think long-term. It's something that they have chosen. They see themselves in that picture and that image for a long time. Now, what does that mean? It means ideally you should choose a career that is, if that's not the case now, because I know not all of us have figured out our thing, then you need to look out for what is my purpose. You need to ask yourself, what's my purpose? What do I feel God planted me here on planet Earth for? That's what you want to do, my friend. So if that's not clear, seek divine guidance. I believe if you go to succeedingdaily.com, there should be a topic I did on purpose. So you look it up, and because we want to go into detail around this. Okay. All right. That's tip. Now for tip 21 is solutions focus. Now for solutions focus, this is something that I've been preaching like the last 5 to possibly less than 5, most likely. No, it should be more than 5. Should be for at least the last 6 or 7 years. That's something I've been sharing. So I discovered that there are 2 kinds of staff members. So people, who are hired somewhere, people who are employed somewhere. So I'm going to give you an analogy. You will hear these 2 characters. Character A, and these are typical characters. If you're say supervisor or a leader, you will identify these characters. Character A is the one that is a problems expert. So meaning they will tell you what the problems are and why those problems are there, and then they will announce these problems. So they come to you and say, character A, assuming you're the manager or supervisor, they come to you, oh, so we have a problem. And then you will help them work on it. Say, oh, we have a problem, we have a problem, we have a problem. Sometimes you can ask them, okay, what's the solution? No, but you as management should think we have a problem. Okay, that's character A. And by the way, out of curiosity, how many of us know of such characters who are experts at stating problems at the workplace or in a business or in any enterprise organization? If you know of such a character, type the word me, okay, or 1. Type 1. Let me not challenge you to type words. Type 1. If you know of such a character somewhere who is an expert at stating problems, type 1 in the chat box. Hey, I'm seeing someone's coming through the screen. There you go. So those are the characters. Now, let me ask you a question. There's that character A, the problem expert. Then there's character B, whom I choose to call the solutions expert. Now, for the solutions expert, they come in and say, okay, we have this challenge. They can go to the supervisor, and I'm proposing that there are 3 ways I've thought about solving this. There's option A, option B, and option C. Therefore, I'm just curious. I'm wondering, now they're talking to you as a supervisor, what do you propose? What do you suggest I should go? What do you think, or what do you propose, or what do you, according to your expertise and experience of these 3 options, which one is the best? Now, the thing is, by the time this other solutions expert finishes, the weight of this person's shoulders is light. Now, I usually joke when I'm presenting and say, okay, now for the problems expert, if every time they come, they say, I have this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem. By the time, by the 4th time or even before then, when the supervisor sees this person, they're asking, now, what is their problem? Before they even open their mouth. Because this problems expert, that's how they have branded themselves. They have created a brand of problems expert or problem statement expert. That's what they have created themselves to be, or to show up as. Now, question. Between the problems expert and the solutions expert, who do you think is most likely to advance, to be promoted, to be acknowledged, to get prizes, to receive more honors and more influence and more leadership possibilities? If you think that is the problems expert, type the word problem. If you think it's the solutions, type the word solutions. Or P for problem and S for solutions. That, again, we can keep it simple. Please go ahead and type in the chat box. Who is most likely to be promoted and to get opportunities? Okay, see, I'm seeing lots of S's. I'm yet to see a P. Okay, so that's fantastic. Thank you. So that's the insight. And I know most of us here are employed somewhere, and I can guarantee you, regardless of whichever level you are at, always think solutions. Always think solutions, because that's what moves people forward, and that's what will move you forward. That's what will get for you or garner for you plaudits and other opportunities. Next. Hey, what did I do? I did something. Okay, great. And if I stop the sharing, it looks funny. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is fine now. The next tip, tip 22, or lesson number 22 is this. Focus on becoming more valuable than liked. Okay. Now, here is something else I've noticed. I've noticed that there are certain career professionals, again, I'm talking about work environment, whereby they are positioning themselves, they are politicking, they are making certain moves just so they are liked. They will gossip if they have to gossip. They will put other people in bad light if they have to. They will just do all sorts of funny things to be liked. And they do not focus, and some of those people do not focus on being more valuable. Now, I've noticed that the winners, those who break through from the mold, those who are beyond the ordinary, those who become extraordinary, they choose to become more valuable. Now, how do you become more valuable? You become more valuable by doing a couple of things. One is mastering a couple of skills, making yourself more skilled day in, day out, so that you can be able to solve more problems and generate new opportunities. Remember, your job to excel in any form of career or endeavor is you solve more problems and you create more opportunities. That's what will help you to excel. That's what will help you to advance to a much higher level. So always think at that level and say, okay, how can I make myself more valuable? What is that thing that I need to do that I need to learn that will make me more valuable? So Gori says the goody goodies. Okay. Yeah, the goody goodies, indeed. The types who don't want to challenge, to question anything, everything. Yeah. They smile, So they are the goody goodies, I suppose. So just focus on being more valuable. But this is what's interesting. The more problems you solve and the more opportunities you create, guess what? The more likely you'll become anyhow. Now, having said that, I know the non-performers will not like you, but the people who matter will like you. And of course, even those who matter, there could be those who might feel a little threatened and all that, but it doesn't matter. In life, if you keep making yourself more valuable in your workplace, that's key to your security. That's key to your next level of blessing and advancement. Besides, yesterday, I remember talking about how you should make this world a better place. So besides, that's the key right there. So you need to ask yourself, how can I become more valuable? And that is by learning certain skill sets. And part of the job is to figure out what is required in your workplace and master that skill, master that ability, master that know-how. Then all of a sudden you become invaluable, or not irreplaceable, but invaluable, meaning the value you bring is so precious that people are celebrating your presence. Okay, cool. Next, this is one of my favorite, the one that I'm going to post here, to highlight here. It's this. Ownership mentality. Yes. Ownership mentality. Because part of the challenge I've noticed in that there are certain kinds of staff who feel and think that they are working for someone, that it's, after all, the people who benefit the most are those guys at the top. Those who benefit the most are the directors, the owners of the business. Wrong mentality, my friend. Wrong mentality. The winners, those who stand out, those who, people celebrate and people are going out and saying, wow, those are the ones who work as if they own the organization, as if they own the company, as if everything depended on them. Now, That's part of thinking at the level of 100% responsibility. Now, this is what I usually share with people, like those who think, I'm employed somewhere besides it's, no. You are a stakeholder. You are a shareholder in quotes. Because if you ask any entrepreneur, they will tell you that when it comes to, let me ask a question here. Yes. Type in the chat box. Who gets paid last? The business owner, let's say for people who own businesses, who gets paid last? The business owner or the employee? If you think employee, type the word E, meaning employee. If you think the person who gets paid last is business owner, type B or business owner. Okay, please type. Can see Fiona has given an answer, but Beatrice has given an answer, Grace has given an answer. Type. I want to see the answers. Aha, fantastic. Well, I can see all the people who have typed in have got the answer right. It's the business owner. You know, because I know of entrepreneurs personally, whereby they start businesses and you find that they are employed somewhere, and we have some people like that in this room right now, whereby they have a business and they're employed somewhere and the business makes a loss and they get money from their salary to pay salaries for people at the business venture. Therefore, you are, because you see, a business owner gets what they call dividends, or directors, they get dividends. Dividends only come in after registering a profit, and still they get a certain percentage of the profit. Therefore, you are an owner in quotes. Besides, you're paid first. Okay, you're paid first. So you need to think that way. But this is something else I usually advise people. Whenever I'm speaking, say in an audience, and I ask people, okay, how many of you want to one day to own your own business? And if you do, or your own enterprise somewhere, and if you're that kind, you know, at least over 80% of the hands go up. And then I usually advise them this way. Say, look, if you want to own a business, then use your current workplace or organization as the training ground. If you really want to, see, you use that as practice, you prepare, you start preparing in that moment, you train yourself, you're passing on a message to the universe, to God, that I am ready. But if you're the kind that is abusive to an entity, to an organization, and you're not a good steward, then you're passing on a message to God that you're not worthy to be given an enterprise to run because you're disrespectful. So if you want to own something, start acting like an owner. Okay, start acting as an owner. Not only will it make your job secure, but it also will upgrade your skill sets and abilities. Number 3, you're telling the world and the universe that you're a person of responsibility. And also, when you have an enterprise of your own, you'll find it much easier to run. Okay. Now, this to me is one of the most crucial skill sets, and I want to make sure that all of us have understood. Does this make sense? Have you understood? If you've understood, type 1 in the chat box, because I want to make sure that you've understood this. It's one of the most critical mentalities or mindsets that one must have. Type. Okay, cool. I'm seeing one's coming through. That's fantastic. Now, that's the mentality I want you to always have. Next. What I'm going to show you next is counterintuitive, yet it's powerful. This is it, my friend. Help others to take over from you. Now, someone will think, Ethan, what? Take over from me? No way. But you see, some of the things in life are counterintuitive. Okay. So let me do a test here. So helping others take over from you, what do you think is the reason? Why do you think this is crucial for you to advance to another level? Type in the chat box. Let me see. That's a puzzle for you. Why? Type in the chat box. Why? Why am I proposing that? Type. Let me see. as I take some sips of water. Why? Why is that important? Or why is that crucial? Corretti says sense of security and success. Vitre says this helps in continuity of the workflow. Okay, I can see answers coming in. That's great. That is to show true leadership. Anastasia, you never know what tomorrow holds for me. Huh? Let's go. Can see you all have an idea. That's fantastic. Can I have at least one more typing? Good leaders mentor others. Fantastic. Now, you all have great answers. Give yourselves a round of applause. I appreciate that. Now, let me add this. Let me add it this way. You see, for people, how many of you have noticed, before I give you the insight, how many of you have noticed that there are certain characters, when they have a job, it's like they fight tooth and nail to protect their job, and they want to fight off others. They don't want to teach others. It's like they almost feel threatened. It's like this territory, this plot of land they have, no one shall touch. Do you know of such characters? If you know of such a character, type 3 there. If you know of such a character, type 3. If you've ever come across such a character, okay? So I can see some 3s coming through. Now, here is the danger. Here is the danger. For such characters who think that way, they are telling the world that this is all that I am. I cannot go beyond here. This is a definition of who I am. Therefore, I am stuck here. So like, this is it. Finally, I have arrived. So if you're telling the world that you have arrived, why should God take you to another level? Why? Doesn't make sense. Then you're stuck right there. In fact, I know someone very close in our family circles. She asked someone to train them in a certain skill set. And this person said, if I train you, then what will my job be? Wrong mentality. So let me tell you something. Let me tell you a trick. See, when you help others take over from you, in addition to all the good answers you given me, so number one, you're empowering others. When you empower others, you're also being empowered. Number one, I mean, if you have a headache or something, or you're going on leave, you can enjoy your leave. Have you noticed that there are people who can almost never go on leave, or if they go on leave, they never enjoy it because they have never empowered others. So they are always on call, they are always on phone because, you know, it's them who know the secret sauce. And that's not a good way to live, first of all. You'll burn out. But then most crucial, when you help others take over from you, it's like you're telling the universe, say, you know what? I have mastered this thing. Now I'm preparing other people so that when another opportunity comes through, these people can take over. Because you should always be preparing yourself for the next level. Because if you don't, then you will be stuck there. Always prepare people for the next level. Now, the other beauty is when you help others take over from you, then you will also attract other people to train you to help them take over to the higher levels. Because if you're the only one who can do that job, then even if your manager or your leader or your president or your CEO is thinking about moving you, they're thinking, if we move this fellow to the next, this thing is going to crumble. Do you see how sometimes by blocking other people to grow, we block our ways to grow also? By opening other people's eyes and abilities and mindsets to grow, then we are also opening windows and doors for us to grow. By helping other people to fly, then the universe will also open doors for you to fly. So always be willing to empower, to engage, to explore on how you can help people around you to show them what you're doing. You might say, but if I show them, they might take over. Yeah, then you go to a better role. You go for a better job. Who told you that thou shalt be stuck where you are at? Always think that way. And that also means you should be thinking, okay, what's my next level? You should be preparing yourself for the next level. Okay, cool. Does this make sense? If it makes sense, type the letter S, just to make sure it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, type the letter N, because this is another crucial, it's a counterintuitive idea, yet it's very, very powerful. Those who get it and apply it, you'll be in, okay? Type S if it makes sense. If it doesn't, type N. Okay, I'm seeing lots of S's, fantastic. All right, let's move on to the next lesson. or insight. Insight number 25, I beg your pardon, is this: evolve or get evicted. See, we are living in a world of evolution. Now, whether the philosophy or the theory of evolution is true or not, that's another matter. But what we know for a fact is those who do not evolve to another level, they get left out. You have to engage. You have to get better. You have to know where the trends are, because if you're stuck in the old, the same old, no one wants to keep the same old. I don't take wine, but I'm told that the older the wine gets, the sweeter it becomes. Well, I suppose then it's evolving also. Those of you who understand the theories of wine, you can advise. But I'm supposing, it's fermenting, or whether it's fermenting, I don't know what the process is, but it's getting better and better. It's evolving. When they say sweeter, it means it's evolving. So are you getting sweeter or bitter? That's a good question, because if you don't evolve, then people will start nagging you, they will start questioning you, then you become bitter. And, I understand that I have a friend of mine who is good with alternative methods of medicine and all that, was saying that, and feeding and health, alternative wellness methods, was saying that for food, that the bitter, the better. But in career, the bitter, no, it isn't the better. No, if you want to get better, you have to evolve. Evolving means to ask yourself, am I getting better? And part of evolution is to ask yourself that, okay, in my industry, where is the next batch? For example, I typically advise accountants that if you're an accountant, for example, and you're not adding more skills to get better, you're going to be left behind. You're going to be left behind. So because technology is replacing lots of those roles. Now, you have to ask yourself, what is that extra thing I can do? Where is the accounting profession going the next couple of years? Okay, the accounting profession, it's not just about talking about numbers. It's about, say, explaining the story behind the numbers. What's the value in the numbers? What is the interpretation? What's the insight? What is the strategic insight we can extrapolate from these numbers? What are the opportunities we see in these numbers? What are the problems we see in these numbers? What story does this tell us? What does this tell us about our organization? What does it tell us about the health of our organization presently and future? You see, that's the accountant who has evolved, who asks those numbers, who thinks about such questions. Again, I'm saying them off cuff right here. I'm not an accountant, just so you know. But I would love to have such an accountant. Such an accountant all of a sudden becomes super valuable because they have evolved their skill sets. They have evolved their mindsets beyond just the numbers. So you also need to ask yourself, okay, where is the next level? For example, I know that if you're not figuring out ways to figure out online things, then you're going to be left behind. The businesses that and do not have a presence, or personalities that don't have a presence, then you get, you disappear because people now are online. I was doing a workout in the neighborhood, and I found this. Can you imagine? Have you noticed? I thought it was hilarious, but let me see if someone has noticed what I've noticed. Have you noticed that these days, a group of people can be seated, let's say 3 or 5 or even more, and they are not talking, but they're on their phones engaging online with someone far away? Have you noticed that? If you've noticed that, type 1. It's like when people have the phone, they engage more in people far away online than the people face to face. Have you noticed that? It's okay. I'm seeing a couple of ones. It's something that is incredible. I saw 3 people. They were seated somewhere where I was passing by, and they weren't talking. They're online. So meaning the trend is, if you don't learn how to be online, and I don't care whether you're an individual or an enterprise, then you'll be left behind, because there are many people who are online. They are online. So you need to evolve. And again, ask yourself, what are the trends? And how have you equipped yourself to take advantage of that trend or to be relevant in the new trend? How are you relevant in the 2023? Well, you know, and of course, depending on when you're watching this, how relevant are you, you know, how are you preparing yourself to be relevant in the next 5, 10, 20 years or so? And when I say 2030, it might seem so far, but at least think in the next 5 years, the world is accelerating so fast. You need to evolve. You need to think super fast, regardless of the career that you're in. Things are accelerating super fast. If you're in IT, for example, and you haven't, you know, if you're in IT, have you mastered web security? It's a big thing. If you're in IT, for example, have you mastered blockchain? Have you taken advantage of it? Because now it's big. It's here to stay, to keep evolving. Depending on when you're watching this, of course, for us who are watching the recorded session, have you mastered that? Okay, good. Next, 26 is personal branding and marketing. When I say personal branding and marketing, you need to put your name out there. Okay. Now, what does this mean for you? If, for example, you are employed somewhere, this is what I advise. One, ask yourself, what are those, and by the way, you can go to succeedingdaily.com. I believe there is a training I did on personal branding, which you can access there. Ask yourself, what do I want people to say, think about me? How do I want to position myself? And then you start living that way. Okay, that's your brand. It's what do people say when you're not there? That's your brand. Okay. Now, when we talk about marketing, it's about putting your name out there. Engage. When you go for a workshop, don't just sit there and just keep quiet. Put up your hand, ask a question, contribute. And also when you're contributing, stand up. Mention your name. Hi, my name is so-and-so. My name is Ethan Mussolini. I work with Success Africa as a human resource consultant. And the question I have is, now, what you're doing there is not only are you making yourself visible, but people also know what you do. Hi, my name is Joan, and I help people I show people on how to lose weight in 30 days or less without eating less food. And the question I have for you is, now what you've done there in that moment, you branded yourself, you planted a thought in people's minds, what you are, what you solve, the idea you put out there. And then you never know, after the workshop, they will talk about you. They will ask, no, when you're on social media, what are you posting? Are you the kind that shares problems, that shares just stories of sorrow, or just posts that pull other people down? Or are you the kind that shares stories and ideas that pull people up, that boost people up? So are you the one who goes online to, you know, someone goes online and say, oh, well, you mention all sorts of negative things, or you're the kind that is hopeful, that is uplifting? Again, all that is part of your brand. So start watching. Ask yourself, the things you post on social media, as an example, since we said lots of people are online, would you be proud if that was published in the newspapers? I'm happy to say that I've been very intentional. If you go on my social media pages, see I'm very intentional. I do things I post things that either teach people or encourage people or inspire people. It is intentional. That's part of my brand. How about you? Okay. So again, just think, what's my brand? Am I marketing myself? Am I putting my name out there? Now, if you're at the workplace, I also see people, they never talk about what they are doing. Now, it doesn't mean talking about it in a bragging way. So, oh, see how great I am. This is how, oh yeah, I'm the only big fish here. I mean, without me, this organization wouldn't be anywhere. Now, that's bragging. But a smarter way, say, oh, by the way, I'm very grateful. By God's grace, I managed to develop this software which can help the rest of you to reduce your time for searching for documents from 2 hours to just 1 hour. So you can check it out here. So you're talking about it in a way that is not bragging, but now people know that you developed a solution. So your manager, your colleagues now know what you're doing. So in the future, if they're looking for someone to promote or to advance, now they look for you. They will know that you're a person of solutions. Okay. Next is master the 4 priceless skills. Okay. So here's the key. Those of you who have been following me for a long time, I've mentioned it before. You could be familiar, but I will say it again because it's priceless. This is what I mean. I talked about evolving, noticing the trends and all that. That's one thing. But there are skill sets that I've realized over the years that if you master these 4 skill sets, you always stand out, and you always stand out and succeed in whichever career you choose. 1, public speaking. Why is that important? Because then you're able to influence masses. Then it helps you with the personal marketing aspect that I was talking about. Because then you're able to influence not one, but you can influence a multitude. The second skill you need to master is sales and marketing. Why? Because we are always selling an idea. We are always selling a project, business, or service. So you have to put yourself in that frame of mastering. How can you sell an idea, a product, a service out there into the marketplace or in the world, at your workplace or outside the workplace? You need to master that second skill. The third skill, which is priceless, regardless of your career, again, I'm looking at skill sets that cut across different careers, is leadership and management. Whoever can lead, manage, motivate, inspire people, a group of people to perform, such characters are always super, super valuable. So learn what's the best way to deal with people, to manage people, to lead people to higher levels. That will make you super, super valuable. Now, the last skill, by the way, when I talk about public speaking, you can expand it to communications in general, but I will spoil it one thing, then public speaking. And then lastly, the other skill set, which is crucial, is productivity. Now, when I say productivity, it's broad. It's how do you maximize your time? I prefer productivity rather than time management. How do you maximize your time? How can you get the most out of your time? So once you figure that one out and you're able to outproduce your peers, then you stand out. If it takes someone else 2 hours to produce something and you're able to do it in 1 hour, that alone makes you stand out from the crowd because you're super productive. If it takes someone 2 weeks and for you able to do it in 3 days, voila, you're a superstar. So that's productivity, master productivity skills. And it's really about how do you get the most out of your time. If you master those skill sets, even if you forget everything else, that tip alone, if you've never had me share that, then you will stand out from the crowd, period. Tip 28 is this, one of my favorite. It's not a job or a career, it's a mission. It's a mission. It is a mission. So you have to look at what you're doing and say, you know what? It's not just a job where I earn a paycheck. This is a calling. This is something I'm doing for the universe. I'm on a mission. You know, missionaries go out there, missionaries from the word mission, they're on a mission to achieve something, to make a difference. Missionaries, they're out there to make a difference in the world with what they are doing. So look at yourself as a missionary, whatever that job is, whatever that career is. And once you start looking at yourself as a missionary and you start looking at your job as ministry, part of the conversation I used to have with my pastor is, I told my pastor, look, if I get a job to facilitate on a Sunday, I'll gladly do that because I'm doing ministry myself too. So even this work that I'm doing right now, I'm doing ministry. Ministry is not just when you are in a spiritual temple or church or wherever it is, or a mosque. No, I believe that ministry is you offering a kind of service out there in the marketplace. And there are those who do it in church and those who do it in the marketplace. There are those who do it on the pitch, soccer. That's their ministry. That's the gift that God gave you. And therefore, if God gave you a gift and you're out there using it to impact the world, that's your ministry. Now, the moment you start looking at your job as a mission, as a ministry, then you know that you are not alone. You and God are one. You are co-creating, my friend. And if you start thinking that way, then you will do things, you will start getting ideas, you'll start getting insights, and you're like, yeah, surely that is from God. Because you're not just there for a paycheck, you're there to make a difference. It's the Bible that talks about that, work as though not serving man, but working for God. And that's what your mentality should be. Some people go there, they are not appreciating me, they didn't thank me. No, doesn't matter. Well, if they thank you, you thank me sometimes. Most, typically all of you thank me in a way, and I appreciate that. I like that. And you know what? At the same time, for me, whether you're thankful or not, my big question is, have I served? And right now, I feel I've served, and that's enough. If you thank me, that's a bonus, and I'm still very grateful for that. So you need to operate from that perspective, because for me, I know, like right now, what I'm doing, yes, God gave me a gift to do this, to teach, to coach, to mentor, to train, to consult. That's my gift, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm being of service. I'm on a mission. I'm a missionary. I'm doing ministry right now. So once you're in that state, then you're energetic, you're vibrant. I'm sure you can also feel my energy right now. So you're vibrant, therefore you're able to perform at a much higher level than the ordinary level. But if you are there, they didn't pay me, they're not paying me little, they're doing this. I recall my first, in this space that I'm in, my first job in this space of consulting and training, I was volunteering at the Leadership Institute in Zambia right now. I was being paid 120,000 shillings per month. I was working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But I was working as if I was being paid millions and millions of shillings then. Okay, this is way back 2002. So why? Because I was on a mission. Because I hadn't interpreted that, but for me, so meaning you need to look at your job from a place of a much bigger perspective than a title, than a position. No, it's not a position. It's not a title. It's not a job. It's a mission. You're God's ambassador, my friend. So that's how you should be thinking and feeling and behaving. And once you come from that space, then it doesn't matter whether your manager or supervisor abuses you or someone does not appreciate it. It doesn't matter. You go do your thing, my friend. And once you do your thing, blessings, I'm told, will come your way. Sometimes I get to place, I'm like, oh, wow, this is so cool. And you even feel chills. So that's my encouragement. And I was saying that this was the biggest, but for me, this is a much bigger point. This is the best point of all the lessons. This is the best lesson, because if you carry this, then the rest will be easy. The rest will be super easy, my friend. The rest will be super easy. It's not what your mom, your uncle, your auntie, your friends think and all that. It is this what God wants you to do? And if you feel that you're doing what God wants you to do, that's it. Finished. Finito, if that word exists in Italian. Finito. Okay? So it's done. It's finished. Chiwede. And that's the mentality I want you to have. Then you'll step out and serve from a much higher space, from a much higher place. You know that you're serving God's children. Because if you're in ministry, you're serving God's children. You know why these people who are preaching and all that, they have so much, they feel they feel like they are serving God's children. And then when we are doing these other jobs, whether you're an accountant or a lawyer, what you feel like it's a different dimension. No, you are serving God's children. They are the same people. They are the same people. And I like that change in mindset, in that once you start seeing that you're serving God's children, it means you're on a divine mission. So whether the paycheck has increased or not doesn't matter. What matters is that you increase your commitment, your desire, your celebration around this. Oh, I like this. I like this point. I love this point. Where you're working smart. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm not sure whether I understood that point, but here's the summary. Number one, think long term when you're doing any career. 2, become solutions focused. 3, focus on becoming more valuable than liked. 4, ownership mentality. Behave like you own the company or organization. Help others take over from you, because then you'll be able to take over from other people also. Next, evolve or get evicted. Personal branding and marketing. Master the 4 priceless skills. And it's not a job or career, it's a mission. It's a ministry. My friends, here we go. What did you find most useful in this presentation? And how are you going to implement the lessons moving forward in your life and career/business? So type in the chat box. And of course, last year I did sessions on personal and career development. There are 50 lessons I did. I was planning to package everything up and sell it for $1,000. God told me to give away everything for free. So I've uploaded everything for free right now. It's accessible. If you need coaching, you can go to ethanmussolini.com/coaching. Then my story is here. You can check out the story of Ethan Mussolini, subscribe to my YouTube channel and my social media channels. These are my phone numbers. If you need coaching, it could be public speaking, it could be life and career development, it could be counseling of some sort. You have an issue and you need some advisory. If you need human resource training and consulting, you can go to success-africa.com. These are Florence's phone numbers. She's my current assistant. The first phone numbers, you can check, you can consult her, or you can reach out to Jerry for stuff related to Success Africa. We are Team Powerhouse. So that's it, my friend. I want to see the insights here. Harriet, by the way, I didn't understand the post you. It looks like you must have posted it when I had said something, but now I don't remember what it was linked to. I'm sure it's linked somewhere. Jimmy says, helping others take over from me by having a plan of actions for empowering others. Fantastic. All right. Who else? Who else? Who else? What else did you find most useful? Was this valuable for your, for the 45 minutes you've spent here with me? If you found it valuable, please type a word value, okay? So that I know it was valuable. Beatrice says, my carry home today, admission. Oh, a mission. I'm on a mission to make a difference. Fantastic. Efa says value. Fantastic. Type the word value if you found it valuable, and most importantly, I want to hear, what did you find most valuable and what are you going to do moving forward? Okay, so I appreciate I'm seeing also value. So what did you find most useful and what are you going to do differently? Nakacha, it's not a job, it's a mission or calling. So valuable. Yes, I could also feel it. It's a super valuable. Can you imagine if every person thought that way? Say, I'm on a mission. If someone is laying a brick, say I'm on a mission, I'm in the Ministry of Building Houses. If someone is cleaning, is a cleaner, say I'm in the Ministry of Hygiene. If someone is in finance, someone say I'm in the Ministry of Numbers, helping people to make sure their numbers are right. If someone is a lawyer, they are thinking, oh, I'm in the Ministry of Justice to make sure, justice is dispensed. For if you're, if you're in the tourism sector, you say, I'm in the the Ministry of Happiness, whatever this thing is, okay? Roy says, focus on solutions, great. Fiona, ownership, I'm glad you mentioned, because I live by this theory. Fantastic, Fiona. And I'm sure you're super successful and valuable at your workplace, wherever you are at. Grace, evolve or get evicted. Yes, great. So I love keeping time. And it's just a few seconds to time. And it's been a pleasure engaging with you as always. Please, if you're watching this as a recording, share it with as many people as possible. And for those of you